What is up, everyone? This is SwordKing090 and this is going to be Operation Blackout episode 13, the 13th episode of the Operation Blackout series, where we're going to be encasing the entire world in good old Obsidian to block out the sun. And we still got about 2 more towers to mine up, and then once we're done with that, then we will be using all the Obsidian that we have at hand to start filling up the ocean, at least the ocean walls, just making that giant wall across the edges of the entire world, and then from there, we will reset the end, kill the Ender Dragon, and mine up the Obsidian towers once more. Just rinse and repeat. Every single time where we mine up all the towers, that's when we're going to be using all the Obsidian to showcase a lot of progress that would be worked on, and to show a lot of progress. Rather than just having like a chest, putting it up in the ceiling little by little by little, it doesn't seem that there's going to be that much progress. So it would be essentially 3,000 blocks versus over 25,000 blocks in a comparison. So that's what we're going to be doing, and that's how we're going to work at it. And depending on how fast we could actually get a lot of the obsidian, then that's how long it's going to take us. For at least what I think that this may take us is probably around 6 to 8 more months, and hopefully during that time, maybe if I were to become a little bit more famous on YouTube, then I could do this for a living, and then from there I could dedicate a lot more hours into working on Operation Blackout and as well as Operation Bedrock. And I cannot wait to tell you guys what's going to be happening in Operation Bedrock. I'm not going to spoil it here. You're going to have to wait till Saturday's episode of Operation Bedrock for me to talk about this. And I will be doing a little bit of jump cutting because, or at least more jump cutting than normally. It's because 1, I am a little bit sick. Yes, that's not a shocker. And 2, I have 2 canker sores, which basically means that there is just a little bit of an open sore that is healing in your lips, or in, yeah, like pretty much in your mouth, where you actually get a cut and then just has that little white sore right there. That's what I have right now, and I have 2 of them. One of them is at the edge of the lip, and then one of them is pretty much at the very, very bottom, like where the teeth are at, like the lower, yeah, the second row of teeth. Just pretty much in that area, like just below or above the chin, actually, just above the chin. And it kind of hurts to actually talk, but I'm still talking due to the fact that I got to make a commentary and as well as tell you guys what's been going on with Operation Blackout and anything else that may have happened during the week. So it's just one of those things that it's gonna be a little bit painful to talk, but I will just go through it. I'll just try my best not to slur my words, but I can't give you any promises. And again, I will be doing jump cuts to take a little bit of a break if it just becomes a little bit too overbearing in a sense. So one of the things that is actually new is that I am using my Shure SM7B microphone. I've yet to actually make a little bit of a test video, well, like a comparison video in that sense, between the Blue Yeti and as well as the Shure SM7B, but I'm just using the Shure SM7B for this video. Back then when I first bought it like a week ago, it didn't actually work because one of the things is that with the mixer, I'm still thinking that it was my sound card that is actually causing the problem. But when I did a little bit of a live stream test for the first time using the equipment, it was not good. It was very, very staticky. Even if I was or wasn't talking, people were able to hear static just throughout the entire audio aspect of the live stream. So it just didn't work. I just couldn't use it. I couldn't work with it. And overall, I had to go back to the Blue Yeti until I actually got something different. The previous setup that I had before, it was the Shure SM7B connected to the Heil, I believe it was like the PT 120 boom arm that's clamped onto the desk. But the microphone is connected into the cloud lifter, which you need a cloud lifter to actually be connected to the Shure SM7B to give it at least 25 decibels of clean gain without any distortion and without any of the interference. And then from the cloud lifter, I had that one connected into the Mackie 12-channel mixer, and from there, that was actually connected to the computer sound card. So I still think it was the sound card that was messed up, or if I actually had to get something different, if I had to actually connect the Mackie into the audio USB interface before putting that into the computer, that could have been as a thing as well. But instead, I returned the Mackie. I got that $200 back, or pretty much $260 back out of the $270 that I spent on it. So it was actually a pretty good refund in any case, that I got my refund, and then I used that money to actually buy the good old Focusrite. I was about to say Scarlett because I always refer to it as Scarlett, but it is the Focusrite Scarlett 2nd generation 2i2 audio interface to be connected to the cloud lifter, which is connected to the Shure SM7B, and then of course the Scarlett itself is connected by USB into the computer, and from there it was just perfect. It worked very well, and I'm very happy that the Sly Seth was there to help me out, because it took me a while to figure out what I needed to do. At least I tried to figure it out myself. I couldn't actually find out what I needed to do exactly. So from there, sure enough, that Seth actually helped me out in putting up the mono channels and how to correctly put everything, especially during the live stream. Could have not even figured this out myself, even if I tried. I just couldn't figure it out, so he pulled through and helped me out in figuring out what I needed to do, especially with the Focusrite. It has 2 channels, but it mainly records mono, so that just means it records on one side. So if you were to go back to Audacity and change it to mono recording, then you'll be able to play it on both ears. But if you try to do it on stereo, then it would only play on the left, and then you would have to do a little bit more editing, editing wise, to copy that onto the right to make it stereo once more. And I probably could have done that. I probably could have lived with that. But since Audacity actually has mono recording already set up, that's perfect. That's just absolutely perfect. And of course, you could actually hear me from both ears. So that's what kind of means of stereo and mono. Stereo is surrounding with the left and right, and then mono is either one side or the other side. So if you're recording mono, then make sure that you have the proper outputs and your proper editing. Because all you have to do is just copy it and put it onto the right side if it's recording on the left, and vice versa. If you're recording on the right side, you put the audio onto the left as well. So that's just amazing how technology is so different. And at least with the Focusrite Scarlett 2nd Gen, I could actually get a second microphone. It'd probably be a different microphone. If anything else, I could actually possibly buy the good old Audio Technica if I really wanted to. That could be an option as well. Then have a friend of mine be the person who's actually using that microphone. So I could actually have 2 microphones, both being recorded at the same time, and then do a let's play out of that. But first, I gotta see whether or not if it is still dynamic, if it will just pick up on his voice and not my voice. If so, then that'll be perfect. If not, then I'll have to find a little bit of an alternative so that our audios do not go overlapping on each other, because that would be kind of awkward. It would be awkward if if I was using a condenser microphone that was being heard, especially when I'm using the Shure SM7B, it would be a little bit more of either an echo type of deal, or just it'll make me a little bit more reverb. That's kind of what I want to say, like a reverb. It's a little bit of an echo, but it's not that big of an echo, but it's just a little bit of a reverb type of deal. So I still got to look it up on the Audio Technica. If it actually is something that my friend can use, then by all means I could actually buy it. So I would not mind. If my friend would be willing to do a lot of let's plays, he'll have his microphone, I'll have my microphone, and then all would be well. So who knows? That could be a thing in the future, because I really want to do a little bit of more dual let's plays, and since we don't have to share the same microphone, then that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to be good about it, and that's what we can make it work. And even then, if I want to use the other microphone for the time being and not the Shure microphone, then that's also an option. But let me know in the comment section below what you think about this audio setup right now. How do I sound? Do I sound better? Do I sound worse? Do I sound the same? Because some people did say that I did sound the same, and then other people saying, what are you talking about? He actually sounds better on this microphone. But all I could say is that I got a brand new microphone. I'm going to keep it because on the live streams themselves, it worked fantastically, if that's an actual word. But all I can tell you, it was fantastic. It worked so well. And a lot of the tests that were being occurred in the actual live streams as well, it was just pretty much it passed. Some of the things that I thought people were able to hear in the background, they didn't hear it at all. And sometimes it does pick up on it, but not so loudly as it was with the Blue Yeti. So that is another thing. And another thing that I cannot actually get used to is unmuting the microphone itself. Every single time when I want to unmute the microphone, I keep reaching for the Blue Yeti, or I keep thinking that the Shure SM7B has a on and off switch just like the Blue Yeti. So it is something to get used to, but I still have the Blue Yeti if I want to have the recording on the go, and it is a USB microphone on its own, so I could easily take it to anywhere I can go, not like the Shure SM7B. So that is a thing. That is a thing to think about. just something portable. And I've had the Blue Yeti for about a good 3 years, and it works fantastic. It still works great. But I'm so happy that I actually took the chance with the Shure SM7B, because one of my major fears when it didn't work so well with the Mackie, although the Mackie is actually a pretty good item, it's a good item on its own, but I just still think it's my computer that just couldn't handle it, especially with the sound card. So if I were to buy a new sound card and upgrade it, maybe that would have fixed the problem, or maybe it's just it would have been better off if I connected the Mackie onto a USB interface, audio interface, and then connect that into the computer. But I'll never know unless if I try all over again. But all it is that with the Mackie, it was just 3 more dials to actually work with when it comes to or actually there was more dials. There could have been a lot I could have done with that, but it just didn't want to work, or I just couldn't make it work for the time being. And I was on a deadline, especially when I have to either return the items or keep the items and pay for it, because you only have 30 days to make your decision of whether or not if you want to keep it or send it back. But who knows, maybe that I could get myself let me see here, before I make more of a fool out of myself, maybe I could actually buy a mini mixer in somewhat of a case that just connect everything. Like this would be the setup. That would be the Shure SM7B, of course, connected to the cloud lifter, and the cloud lifter connects into the mixer, and then from the mixer through XLR, on the cables, that would connect onto the USB interface, and then from there it would connect to the computer. So if that setup could actually work, then that could be a thing that I could actually use. But who knows? I'm just going to do a little bit more research, because this is just a huge different step that I had no idea what I was getting myself into. It was a risk for me. So a little bit of obstacles along the way, but my friends were able to help me out, and you guys were able to help me out during the live streams, just for the test of whether or not if it actually sounded good or not, and what I could have possibly done to change it. I just really appreciate all the support you have been giving me thus far in Operation Bedrock and Operation Dome, and through my videos and the channel as a whole. And I really hope that I will get back to vlogging sometime soon, and then you'll see more of this Shure SM7B microphone. It'll be at the right side of me or left side of me, depending on how the camera goes, because I'm still trying to get used to the camera itself. I'm not used to the directions on the camera of me looking at that, and then it's just completely reversed. I'm used to having it to actually match it up, but it was just completely reversed, because that's how it actually looks like from their perspective. So I am not used to that. But overall, I have a brand new microphone. It is a Shure SM7B, and I will tell you the cost of this whole entire setup, that the microphone in its own costs $400. With that $400, you could actually buy yourself the Audio-Technica 2035 and the Scarlett USB interface and just connect it to your computer, and you'll still save a little bit of money. That's how much it costs. The microphone on its own costs so much because it is one of the highest and also top quality microphones there are on the market, especially when a lot of podcasters and a lot of live streamers, I don't know how many live streamers, but some of them do have this microphone. But that doesn't mean you can still work with the other microphones. It's just whatever you want to do. And if you have the money, then by all means. But still, this is one of the top microphones out there that you can actually use. And a lot of radio stations even have this type of microphone as well. So it was pretty good. It was pretty good. At least if I were to actually do a little bit of a career in broadcasting, at least I'll have the microphone at hand to actually do some, I don't want to say homework, but work at home. That's just funny to think about, especially now that we're in school. Speaking of which, it's still going slow. Honestly, I'm not stressed out about it yet, but I really need to dedicate at least one day to do a lot of schoolwork, get ahead of the time, and make sure that I do not fall behind and not stress out like whether or not if I'm actually going to pass, because that in its own is just very stressful to think about. But in any case, that the Shure SM7B microphone costs $400, then that's connected onto, of course, the boom arm that's connected to the desk, the Heil PT120, if I'm not mistaken, if that's what it's called. That in its own costs $120. I'm just looking for quality, and especially when I could just put it onto the tax return for 2017. And then from there, of course, the XLR cables, that cost me a good $30 to $40, so that's the thing. Or I believe it actually cost me $20. I did buy another cable for $10, but in any case, $20 to $30 in total, taxes included. Let's move on. And then it's connected to the cloud lifter, which I said before that you absolutely need. All the reviews said you need a cloud lifter or anything else that gives it a clean gain without any interference. Otherwise, then you're just going to have to turn up the gain volume on whatever you have that's connected to it. And sometimes that's not going to even be enough. So the cloud lifter on its own is, I believe, $150. And then from the cloud lifter is connected to the Focusrite Scarlett 2nd Gen 2i2. And that in its own costs $160. And that's USB and it connects into your computer. And then from there, you could just listen to how you sound and things like that. And I also do have a studio monitor headset that I'm using. It is a Sony brand, and I do not remember the numbers to it if I could actually see it from here. I think it's 7506. So I've taken a look at it. I just can't really stray away from the microphone. Here's the thing. If you were to stray away from the microphone, you'll actually be a little bit more and more quiet. Because it's a dynamic microphone, you pretty much have to speak right into the microphone. So if you were to turn away in a bit, or if you were to walk away and still be talking, you'll have that little faint sound effect, or I guess you would call it a sound effect. But it's just, you'll be more faint and hard of hearing. But yeah, essentially adding it all together on top of my head, I believe it's around $800 to $900 of equipment to use. So yeah, if you guys remember the real talk I talked about, YouTube is still a business. So whatever I spend, I have to make it back and try to gain profit when I put this onto my tax return. So I got to be mindful of my spending, and yes, I'm going to be buying some more games. I may buy another console because we all know the Nintendo Switch is coming out. So if it's actually worth buying, then I will buy it, and then I have to put that onto the tax return, and I have to make sure that I'm making profit by the end of the year using this channel as a quote-unquote business, even though it is a business. But if it turns out that I'm not making enough money, then I can no longer put this onto the taxes, and they will just classify this as an expensive hobby. So no more tax returns on this. So I got to make sure that everything goes well for me this year. So if you want to know a little bit more information, I believe I talked a lot about this on episode 10, if I'm not mistaken. Just the real talk of it all. So in any case, it is what it is. But that's all I gotta say for this episode, because we got a lot of Obsidian to mine, and as well as that, I got a lot of live streams to do whenever I'm able to do it. So if you want to see the live streams, be sure to subscribe to my channel, and as well as follow me on Twitter at SwordKing090. Every time I live stream, I post it up on Twitter just to let everybody know that I'm live streaming, because the notifications on YouTube really sucks. Even if you were to click the bell notifications, more than likely you probably won't even get the notification. Notification squad, where you at? In any case, this is what it is. I'm using my Shure SM7B microphone for the first time in Operation Blackout, and then I'm going to use it in Operation Bedrock. So let me know how this sounds. If it's a little bit too loud, hopefully I will be able to adjust it during the good old Audacity, and as well as using an Adobe Premiere, and see if it actually all plays out. But until then, lots of work to do, lots of mining to do, and lots of videos to make. And until then, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. If you're brand new to the channel, then please subscribe for more videos, content, and live streams. But until then, I am SwordKing090. Have a great day, everyone, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.
I'm gonna throw my memories away. Now I feel I'm done, and I am cursed by every day till my time is gone. I've never felt this way before, and now I know this all for sure. I won't forget your last betray. I'll never forget this day.